till now, what we have discussed is yesterday we discussed. You guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Now I got a question on here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when we make like a relation, so we can pick one from other table and drag and drop, right?
Yes.
So what happen if we have like more than 10, 100, 1,000 tables? So how we can afford that one to do the same thing this one? Is there any other way you can do? Just simply instead of that, pick it up and drop it. But you advise it is good to pick and drop it. Drag and drop is good.
Mhm. Yeah, so see, there are only two ways in which you can create a relationship. Even if you have 100 tables or n number of tables, 50 number of tables, you have to do either through manage relationship, in which you will have control to see that which table you have to pick, what is the column, and then here you can select the cardinality and cross filter direction on your own, right? If you want to select something else, and if you want to select cross filter direction as both, I'll discuss about this today. Single or both, you can make it from your choice and then press OK. But whenever you will do drag and drop, what will happen, it will automatically select it as or give cardinality as one to many, right? And the filter direction would be one direction. That is how, like, is the default setting. So whenever you will do drag and drop, that will be the default setting. It will have one to many cardinality and uh, uh, the single direction filter, right? So this is the only way in which, these are the two ways in which you can create the relationship. Apart from that, there is no other way that in one go all the relationship will happen for all the 50 or 100 tables. If you want to do, you have to do it one by one basis on which key you want to make the relationship, either using drag and drop or using manage relationship.
Oh, you didn't cover anything about the cross filter direction yesterday, and it's a
Yeah,
new concept.
today I'll be
Okay.
discussing that. Yeah. So Aklilu, did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, fine. So, uh, till yesterday, what we discussed is how to create relationship. What do you understand by one to many? And apart from that, uh, we discussed what else we discussed yesterday? Let me think. Um yeah, I think active, inactive relationship. Did I discuss active, inactive relationship? Like this, make this relationship active. That means that relationship is active. Uh, okay. And yeah, one to many and one to one. I have discussed, and then now today, basically we want to discuss, well, like what happens when we have many to many relationship and all those things, right? So basically, what does one to many refers is, one is basically one instance of each of these uh, customers, in this case customer key. So one instance in customer lookup versus wherever we have star, that means multiple instance in the other table, right? Okay. So hi Mohammed. So
Hi.
right now we are discussing the modeling part, in which we have already imported multiple tables, few lookup tables and one data tables. You can go through the video. So right now what we are discussing is how to create relationships, and what are these one to many and various cardinality, and this filter direction, like single or both. So, what I'll do is, to discuss many to many, I'll pull one more data tables or fact table, and then I can show like what happens when we create many to many relationship. So to do that, first of all, I'll go to get data and pull one more data set, which is sales, which is a return table, in which like all the information about return, like which how many returns has happened, and related to all the return uh, data, we have that table, right? So I'll be pulling that. We have already one table, which is AdventureWorks return. I'll open that. And then these are the four columns in the return table, in which we have return date, on which date the product has been returned. Then we have two keys. One is territory key, one is product key, and then how many quantity had been returned. So we have four columns in this table. We will hit on transform data. Here, the first thing that we will do is we will change the name of the table. We'll keep it as AW returns. Since this is factor data table, we'll not put lookup here. Similar to sales that we had earlier, AW sales, we will have AW returns table, right? And quickly, we will see the formatting, the data format. So looks like this is fine. Return date, territory key, product key. See, this is date format, right? So the formatting for date is correct. Then we have territory key as number, numeric, and return product key and return quantity. So all are looking correct. We will close and apply and load the data. Okay. So here now you can see we have one more fact table, which is, or data table, which is AW returns. And this will come in your data view as well as your model view. So now you have, instead of one fact table, you have two fact table, right? Now, by default, they had created these, by default, they had created the relationship between returns table and this table, right? Which is product lookup. I'll delete this because I want to do it on my own and not depend on the auto detect relationship that has been created by Power BI. So I'll delete that. So now this is the data set that we have. Okay. What I'll do is, uh, whenever there will be multiple fact table or data table in any of the modeling, you will not create relationship between two fact tables. Okay, I'll tell you why. But for now, what I'll do is, right now I have sales table and return tables, right? So this will allow you to analyze sales data and returns data within the same view. Okay. And under return data, since we have three key through which you can connect to different lookup tables. One is product key, right? So product key, we can connect it to product lookup. Return date, so we can connect it to calendar lookup. And return and territory key, so we can connect it to territory lookup, right? Uh, So first of all, we will create this relationship by drag and drop to these three tables, and then then I will show, like, if we create relationship between return and sales, what will happen. Okay. So here, if you see under return table, we have, since this is the table in which you have all the return information, like how many quantity of any particular product has been returned, this product key will have multiple instance of the same product, right? It might happen that on different date, same product has been returned, right, by different customers, or so that instance will not be like, the product key won't be unique, it will be repeating, right? So you have multiple instance of product key in return table, similar to sales table. So in sales table also you have multiple instance of product key. Why? Because the same product could have been sold on different dates. Similarly, the same product could have been returned on different dates. So that's why these product key are not unique in each of these each of these tables, either in sales table or returns table, right? But the product key in product lookup is unique, right? Why? Because here we have defined this table in such a way that it has information about each of the product, like what is the product name, like model name, product color, and all those. So that's why this table is unique. So as soon as I create a relationship between product key from returns table to product key from product lookup table, here we have product key, right? So what I'll do, I'll drag and drop here on the product key, right? So what we see is one to many relationship has been created, right? Why one to many? Because under product lookup we have one instance of product key, that's why it's showing one over here, and we have multiple instance of product key in returns table, that's why it's showing one to many for now, while after creating relationship between these two, right? Similarly, we will create relationship between return date in returns table to date in calendar lookup table. Again, this will be a one to many relationship, right? I'll drag and drop. So this has been created. If I click here, this is one to many. And similarly for territory key, have a relationship in territory lookup table with sales territory key, right? So it has one to many. Okay, let
So
me.
why is it called one to many?
Yeah, it is called one to
Because
many because the on if you hover over this particular line, right? What do we
mm,
see? The key through which we have connected, like the individual key in both the tables are highlighted. So we have product key in returns table and product key in product lookup table. Now this relationship is one to many because the product key in lookup table is unique. So each row in the product key will have like one product will have only one row, because this particular table, what it has information about the product. So this product key is unique, it is uniquely defining each row in this table. That's why we have one over here. But in this case, product key will be repeating. Let's say there is one item that has been returned, right? Let's say adventure works is the data table, like this return table in which the product helmet has been returned multiple times, right? So product key will have, let's say, product key number 1, and the product name is helmet, and all the description related to that product is here, like product price, product SKU, what is the product description. So regarding helmet, there will be only one row, right? Because that is the row which is defining, which is explaining the characteristics of that particular product. But in here you will have product key 1 repeating, it will not be unique. Why? Because that helmet could have been returned multiple times by different customers, so that particular product would be repeating here in this table, in returns table. And hence this is multiple, because you have multiple instance of product key in returns table, while you have single instance of product key in product lookup table. So whenever you will create a relationship, it will show one to many in such case.
so this star
Star
denotes
means many, many. You have
many. Okay.
multiple instance of same uh, ID or the key through which you have connected.
So this was auto detected by the by the Power BI, is it? Like
It was auto detected earlier, but auto detection is not suggested. So that's why I deleted it, and I have created it again.
but when you created also it took star automatically, right?
Yeah. So
Or
okay. So there
did
are
we
two.
define it?
There are two ways in which you can do it. Either you can go to manage relationship and create the relationship. So what you can do, you can hit new and then select two tables. Let's say if you want to, instead of uh, drag and drop, let's say I create it through manage relationship, right? So what I will do, I'll go hit new over here, and then I will select you had returns table, and then you had product lookup table. This product key, since this is the only common key in both the table, it's automatically highlighted. Otherwise you can select on your own. And then here you have two things, which is cardinality and cross filter direction. So cardinality is basically defines how you want to connect both the table. So it will be many to one or one to many to one or one to many is same. Many to one in this case, because I have pulled returns table at the top. So in this you see product key is repeating. So that's why many first and then one later on. Many to one. And then the cross filter direction is single. So this thing I will discuss today in the today's class. But if I would have selected product lookup at the top and returns table at the bottom, it would have shown me one to many. But one to many and many to many concept is same. That means that you have multiple instance in the first table and single instance in the second table. When you will do, let's say, many to many, it will not take. It will give you error. Why? Because this relationship has currently many to many. This should only be used if it is expected that neither column contains unique values. But I know that this table has unique values. So we should not do this. Always remember that whenever you will create relationship, go with many to one or one to many. And the cross filter direction is single. In this case, I'll discuss what do you mean by single both. That is in today's class. And hence you will click OK. So it will show you one to many. So by default also, it will uh, give you one to many or many to one. If you read it from this side, it will be many to one. It will, if you read it from this side, it's one to many. Both are the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So any more questions, guys? Anyone?
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I noticed that for the returns table,
Mhm.
you actually connected that to like different tables as well as just a the product lookup table
Yeah.
and then the calendar lookup. So once was that really necessary? I mean, the fact that you already had it connected with the product lookup, it already had that indirect relationship with all of the tables, right? And so whenever we were to create the report, if it would read like if we need anything that we need to show that had a relationship with the
Got it.
returns table, like it would. Do you really need to create that additional relationship with the
Very
other
good.
tables?
Yeah, so I'll tell you now. You have one sales table and one
Mhm.
returns table, right? In sales table, you have information about all the quantity that has been sold and all those information. And in returns table, you have information about whatever returns happened about the product. Like this is the return
Mhm.
related information, right? Now,
Yeah.
let's say you are saying that why to create this territory relationship, right? Let
Yeah.
me delete this. Okay. So now what will happen? Uh, you don't you don't have any connection between returns table and territory lookup, right? Although you have relation between now let me quickly show you what all relationship you have. The territory lookup table has only one relation, right? There are no other relation with the territory lookup. There's only one relation, right? And this relation is happening with sales table, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
So this there is only one relation, and the relation, the territory lookup has relation with sales table and no other table. Now
Mhm.
sales table is connected with the calendar lookup table, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you are saying that, let's say, calendar lookup table is connected with returns table.
Yes.
So ideally all these are connected. That's what you are
Mhm.
saying,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
But that is not true. And then now the concept of filter flow comes. right? Like the one thing that I wanted to discuss earlier, but since you have asked the question, so I'll discuss it now, right? So do you see like the filter direction in each of these relations? Where
Mhm.
what is the direction in each of these relations? If you note the filter direction in each relationship, these will point from one side of relationship, which is the lookup side, to many side of the relationship, which is the data side or fact side, data table side, right? So
Mhm.
the direction of this filter is pointing towards this table, correct?
Correct.
So whenever you will filter a table, that filter context is passed along to all the related downstream table. What does it mean? Following the direction of the arrow. Like filter cannot flow upstream. What does it mean? It means that, let's say we want to analyze sales and returns broken by territory key. Okay. So let me actually go here and do that for you. So then you will understand. Okay. So what I will do is, let me remove this and have, uh, I will have, instead of product name, I will have territory key. Okay. So let me have territory, sales territory key over here. I'll remove product name at the top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 10 territory key. We have order quantity and I'll pull return. Return quantity, right? Okay. So now see what is happening over here. So what I have done is I have pulled sales territory key from territory lookup. Okay. So there is
Mhm.
one table which is territory lookup here, right? I have pulled
Mhm.
sales territory key from territory lookup. I have pulled orders quantity from sales table. Orders quantity from sales table, which is this table, which is order
Mhm.
quantity. Okay. And then I have pulled return quantity from returns table. So this is return quantity. I have pulled three columns, right? Now, if you see what is happening, the sales territory key has 1 till 10 value. And if you see, order quantity is
Yeah.
looking correct, right? It has
Yeah.
like for territory key one, like first territory, it has 1 to 513 orders and all those. But when you
Yeah.
look into return quantity, what is happening? In total,
They're all the same.
1828 item is has been returned, and every number is repeating here.
Repeating.
Why?
There's
Why
no
it is happening?
relationship.
Because there is no direct relationship between territory lookup and return lookup, right?
Yeah.
Now, why that thing didn't work? Like why territory key has already connection with sales, and sales has connection with calendar, and calendar has connection with return. So you are saying that ideally, in like in other way, all the tables are connected. So ideally it should have been uh, showing the correct return uh, quantity, right?
Yeah,
But
my
that
question has
didn't.
already been answered, though. Thank you so much. I noticed that because of there is no direct relationship between the territory lookup and
Correct.
then the return. Yeah, I see that the chart, whenever you try to create it, it shows the same numbers across like
Yeah,
the
so
entire chart. Yeah, I get it.
why it is happening, I'll tell you. Because this filter is flowing in the downward direction. So this table can't filter values. Like you can always have the values filtered through the lookup table. Like it will always flow downstream and not the upstream. It will never go against the direction. So what is happening? The filter context in this case is flowing downwards. You will have like different sales for each of the territory, but this will not flow towards, like this will not filter this table, calendar lookup table or territory lookup table. So this connection is only related till these two tables, and this has no connection with territory key, since the filter is flowing only towards one direction, right? It cannot
Mhm.
flow in the opposite direction. So that's why we need to have like one connection with return to territory, right? So as soon as we will create a territory key connection with the territory sales territory key in the territory lookup, what you will see, I'll show you. Here, if you see, the number has changed,
Yes.
right? So that means now the connection is correct. What is happening? Those territory key, the return is being filtered out by the sales territory key because we have a relationship between these two tables, and the filter context is flowing towards the return table, which means that this particular relationship is telling me that filter the return quantity basis on the territory key that we have in the lookup table. And that's what it is doing here. That all the return quantity has been uh, decided basis on the sales territory key because we have a relationship between territory key and return quantity. If we won't create a relationship, this return table won't be knowing that there is some other table that is existing, and hence all the numbers were repeating earlier. Okay, clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
No problem. So now if you see under sales table also you have territory key. If I go down and you see there is sales table, under sales tables also there is territory key. What would happen in case if I take sales territory key from sales table instead of taking sales territory key from lookup table? Let's say I don't want to take it from lookup table, I want to take it from sales table. What would happen in that case? So see, as soon as I take territory key from lookup table, the return quantity again started repeating. Why? Because sales, because the territory key we have pulled from sales table, right? And this table is not connected with returns table in any manner. Although this sales table is connected with lookup table and lookup table is connected with return table, but the filter is flowing in downward direction, right? In one to many, always it will happen that filter context will flow downwards. Yeah, so what is happening? Filter context that we have created by using territory key in the sales data table is stuck in this table itself. It cannot flow against the arrow to filter either the lookup or the return. This filter can't flow against the direction to filter to basically filter either the lookup table or the return table, right? As a result, return quantity, if you see here, this return quantity knows nothing about the filter context that we set from using the territory key in sales data table. And hence, like the return, in the return quantity, we see the same number over here. Are you guys understanding this point? What is happening?
Yeah, I'm clear now. Thank you.
Okay, what about others? Do you guys understand? Like, any doubts here?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, sure. So basically, the filter context is very important. Basically, what happens is filter context that we create in this particular case. I'll repeat myself. The filter context that we have created here by using the territory key in the sales data table. In this case, if we don't create, like, since there is only one to many direction, that filter context is stuck in this table. Any filter contact, if direction is downwards, it will not flow against the arrow of the filter, I and to filter either the this table or this table, right? And hence, if you see here, the return quantity is repeating itself, right? So even if we take if we take territory key from sales table, it will not show me the correct return quantity because there is no way in which filter will flow upwards and it will filter lookup table or return table if we take territory key from here, right? Similarly, instead of taking territory key from sales table, if we take territory key from return table itself, let's say I have under return table also we have territory key. What will happen? In this case, you see return quantity is showing correct number. Why? Because I'm taking territory key from return table and return quantity from return table, right? So both are existing in the same table, and that's why you will get the same number. But will it give you the correct sales quantity? No. Why? Because how that is connected, that is connected by lookup table through this direction, and this is the relationship from lookup table to sales. So again, in this case, the way we have created the territory key in the return table, it is stuck in itself and it will not flow against this direction, against this arrow direction, and it will not filter either lookup table or sales table. So in this case, sales table doesn't know, like the sales quantity doesn't know that any other table is existing, and hence we have, when we have taken territory key from this table, it doesn't know that we have to filter our data using the territory key, right? And hence you see here order quantity is repeating everywhere, right? Although return quantity is correct. So whenever you will create any visualization, always remember that the key or the column through which you want to filter should come from lookup table and not the fact or data table. So I know that territory lookup is something which is connected to both the fact tables, right? And hence whenever you will pull any of the column through which you want to filter, so you have to pull it from lookup table instead of pulling it from return table or sales table, right? So this is one of the important concept. And any questions, anyone, so I can discuss that.
Yeah, I have a question, but can you just repeat that last concept? You said whenever we're pulling the
Okay, so
territory
just now
anything.
what we okay, just now what we discussed, we pulled a territory key from territory lookup, and then we saw that once we have these connections, right? We have a connection between territory lookup and AW returns, and we have connection between territory lookup and AW sales, right? So if
Mhm.
you pull sales territory key from territory lookup, then what will happen? You will get the correct answer, which is order quantity and the return quantity will be correct. Why? Because you are pulling it from the lookup table, and that has been connected with the returns and sales table with one to many direction, and the filter context is flowing towards the data table, right? Towards the data table, that means the direction of this arrow is towards return. That means you can filter the return table using the lookup table. So always, this will always happen that the if you create a relationship between a lookup table and a fact table, the direction of filter will flow towards downward. So the last sentence that I told is, whenever you will create any visualization, always try to pull the key through which the key which means customer key or the column through which you want to filter your data, always pull that column through lookup table instead of pulling it from any fact table,
Mm.
right? Because what will happen if you pull that column through which you want to filter other table from fact table, it will not filter the other fact table because there is no connection between these two fact tables. So always remember
Mhm.
then that whenever you want to create a visualization in which you want to have one column in such a way that you want to filter your data basis on that column, so pull that column from lookup table instead of pulling it from any data table that you have in your that you have in your modeling view. Am I clear?
Mm. Yeah.
Any questions? So you can ask, Hanan.
Oh, I have. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If anybody else wants to go, please ask. But I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I'm sorry. So one of the questions that I have is, uh, does it matter, like, say if you're pulling a key from, like, say, from the territory lookup table, like, say sales territory key,
Mm-hmm.
and then you want to create a connection between the AW returns and then the AW territory lookup. Does it matter which key that you pull um the the column from to drop? Like, it doesn't matter if you drop it, if you pull it, like, for drop it from the territory lookup table and then drop it into AW returns, or vice versa. Does that make a difference? As
Drag
long
and
as
drop, you are saying, while creating a relationship?
yeah, does it matter? Like, so we're
No, it will not. It will
essentially
not.
okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Either
matter as long as you're
you
creating.
can click
Okay,
here and drag and drop it to here under sales territory, or you can
vice
click here
versa.
and drag and drop to territory key in returns table. It will create same relationship because anyways you will drag and drop, the filter will always flow from one to many direction. So that's why, like, even if you click and drag here or drop it here and vice versa, since this table has one instance per territory, it will show one over here, and this table has multiple instance of the territory key, it will have multiple over here. You can drag and drop from any way, that will not change this relationship, and the filter context will flow like this only from one to many.
Perfect. One last question. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. Is there any instance where the filter context flows upwards ever?
So if you yeah, you can do it here also. Under manage relationship, what you will do is, you can go here, and instead of single, if let's say I select both, right? So what will happen, let me actually edit this relationship. We were discussing about the territory key and returns table, right? Where is that?
Hmm.
Return, territory key and sales table. I can't see like this. You can double click and then open also. That is fine. Double click and this pane will be open. Now you have cross filter direction as single. You can select as both and press OK. So in that case, what will happen? You have filtered through both the direction, right? And what you can now, what will happen is, you can have, like, both table can filter individual, like, this territory lookup can filter the return table also, and this return table can filter territory lookup also, but this is not recommended. I'll tell you why. Because uh, bidirectional filter, this is called two-way filter or bidirectional filter. Whenever under cross filter direction you select both, it will have uh, it will come like this, like in both the direction, which means that either table can filter either table, right? But this is not recommended. When this is not recommended, whenever you have multiple fact table or multiple data table in the modeling view, this this bidirectional filters are not recommended. Okay. Now, why it is not recommended, I will tell you. Um so let's say we have territory lookup, we have sales data, we have returns data, and we have product lookup, right? These are the four tables that we have that I will be talking about. These are territory lookup and then sales. So let's say um, I create a um, I create a bidirectional here, okay, and I want to create the similar thing from sales table to territory lookup. I want to create here also bidirectional filter. Okay. Similar to what I have created in returns as bidirectional, I want to create bidirectional in sales, in create like between sales and territory lookup, right? So I'll double click this one and I will go here, select both. See, it is giving me warning. What warning it is giving me? It is telling me the relationship you are creating lets you filter AW territories lookup by AW product lookup. Okay. So what is it telling me? This relationship that I am creating between sales table and territory lookup, right? Lets you filter territory lookup by AW product lookup, but only one filtering path between tables in a data model is allowed. Deactivate existing relationship between the tables or change their filter direction. The relationship can be added as one-way filtering. So it is not basically allowing me to create both directional filter over here. When I am trying to do both directional over here under AW sales and AW territory lookup, it is not allowing me to do, right? Why it is not allowing me to do? Because let's say you have bidirectional over here. Like just for assumption, let's say you have bidirectional over here also and here also. Okay. So what will happen in this model? Filter context from product lookup. If you see, you have a relationship between product lookup and sales table. I'm highlighting that particular relationship, right? So filter context from product lookup can pass to first let's talk about the return data. So this filter context can pass to return table, return data, and up to territory lookup, right? Because this filter is flowing like this, right? So the filter context, if I talk about this relationship, the filter context can pass from product lookup to returns data and up to territory lookup, right? You see here you have territory relationship also, because since it is bidirectional, it will flow till territory. It will filter this particular table also, right? And again, if since this is also connected, the filter context will pass from product lookup table to sales table, and it will also filter this table if it would have been bidirectional, right? Let's say this column, this context, this connection is bidirectional. So what is happening? This territory lookup is being filtered using both the tables, right? Both the tables, using returns tables also and using sales table also. Now, if you see here, the territory key has only key for 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Where is 2 and 3? 2 and 3 is not in this table. The territory key 2 and 3 value is not there. Why it's not there? Because you don't have any returns coming out from that territory. Since you don't have any returns in that territory, that particular territory key is not appearing in territory in a return table, right? So you have only values from 1 till 10, excluding 2 and 3. So when the connection is happening through this product lookup returns and then going to territory, this relation is telling that under territory key you have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But whenever it's getting connected from this side, this particular table is telling you have under territory key value 1, 2, 3, 4, like till 10. So both mismatches, right? Both the direction is giving the different result of territory key to territory lookup, which is not correct, which is conflicting, right? Which is creating ambiguity. And hence bidirectional thing is never required in creating data modeling whenever you have multiple fact or data table. So this bidirectional is never recommended, because what will happen as soon as you create bidirectional, it will start creating ambiguity, because the value will start flowing towards data table to lookup table. In this case, it is flowing. If you would be able to do this, it will also flow. And hence, when we were creating this both direction, no, it's not allowing me to do, because from this table, return table, it is giving me different information. From sales table, it is passing different information. Both has different values under territory key. So that's why it's creating ambiguity. Hence the two-way filter is never recommended. So your question was, can we create two-way relationship? Like, can the filter flow against this many to one? We can do that, but that is not recommended in a model wherein you have multiple fact table, because it will create ambiguity. Is it clear, or like you guys are confused?
So it's clear. It's not. I'm not 1,000% clear, but I get the concept. So what if we were just dealing with one fact table? Then would that have been recommended, or would that have worked?
Okay, so if there is only one fact table, you can do it, right? There is no like there will be no ambiguity or nothing will happen. But always make a practice to create relationship in such a way that why do you want to actually create bidirectional in that case? Let's say you have only two tables. You have territory lookup and you have returns table, right? And you have one direction over here, one direction filter over here, which means this particular table is filtering this table, right? Why do you want to actually create relationship between in such a way that the filter context flow from return to territory lookup? That is not required, because under return table you will have all the numeric value, like data numbers related, what is the return quantity, how much total return happened, all those information. So you will never filter, you will never need any filtration in you will never need any filtration in such a way that you want to filter this particular table basis on returns table. Because whenever you will create a visualization, what happens, you will pull like the you will pull the key here in the rows or columns, and you will pull the numeric field in values, right? And you know that the fact table or the data table always have numeric values, like it will give you information about whatever quantity has been returned, whatever sales has happened, or anything numeric, right? So this will always come in value. Why do you want to actually filter this particular table, like flow the filter context from this to this and filter lookup table basis on the returns table? That is never needed. Although you can create that, that will work fine, everything will happen, no issues in that, but that is not required, hence not recommended. But you can create that, that will not create any ambiguity. If you have only one data table, you can create a bidirectional filter, but avoid doing that, because it will unnecessarily complicate the things. It will make your modeling view complex, right? So that you can do, but from my side, I avoid using bidirectional filter, even if it's not that mandatory to do it. In few cases, let's say you have to do it, and that is required in any of the problem statement, you can do that whenever you have like single fact table in the modeling view. Is it, have I answered your question, Nanan?
Yes, you have. Um,
Mm.
Now I just thought of another question. In a case where if we had the AW return, like say one of the data table, like what do you call that? Yeah, the fact
Data table,
tables.
fact table, yeah.
If it was, yeah, if it was actually situated like up, and then you had the lookup tables at the bottom, then would it have shown the up arrow, the filtering to the flow? Right now it's directing like showing down, right? Down arrow. Would it
No,
have
so
changed?
that's what let's say I create single direction. Okay. So filter will always flow from one to many, and hence if you see the way I have created, I have kept lookup table at the top and returns table at the bottom, right? So the filter context will always flow from lookup table to fact table. So even if let's say I make it return at the top and lookup at the down, it's it's going towards returns table. It's going like this, right? So it's very difficult to read through this. That's why like I have created like this, which means that the filter is flowing downwards. This arrow is flowing
Mhm.
downwards, and uh, even if you make lookup table below and return table up, that will not change the direction. The direction means that the territory lookup, the filter context that is flowing from territory lookup will filter returns table in this case, since it is flowing downward. So
Okay.
the placing doesn't matter. Like even if you place it up or down, it will have the same thing.
Okay.
That will not change.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Any more question, anyone? Siti, Aklilu, Muhammad, any questions you guys have?
No
No
questions
question.
from myself.
Okay. Okay, fine. So basically, this is what we had. Now, the last thing actually Aklilu asked me yesterday, many to many relationship, right? So let's say the last thing I will discuss is you have territory key in returns table and you have territory key in sales table, right? As soon as you create relationship between territory key to this territory key, you will get one warning. What warning you are getting? This relationship has cardinality many to
Can you
many.
hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you. Yes, go ahead. City, I lost you again. Hello, do you have any question?
Yes, can you hear me? I don't know. I
Yeah,
was
now I can hear you.
speaking
Please go
about
ahead.
it. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, I have one
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, in what scenario are we gonna use the bidirection filter?
So bidirectional filter, whenever, let's say in some case you want to filter your lookup table basis on data table, then you will create that relationship. Uh, any example? Right now, I'm not able to think, but the purpose of bidirectional is basically to have that capability in which you can filter any particular table through any table, right? In this case, there is constraint that the filter is flowing downwards, which means you can filter returns table basis on the lookup table. But if you will create bidirectional filter, what will happen? You can filter this lookup table also basis on return table, right? So bidirectional helps you filter any of the table. But if you want any example, then I'll come back to you on that. Like I'll create a scenario and then show like in which case bidirectional will work.
Okay, thank you. One more question. What
Yeah.
happened? Okay. What happened if we create a relationship between two blocked tables?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to show
That possible?
currently. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I was
okay.
trying to. So let's say I want to create connection between sales table and returns table, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have territory key in both the tables, correct? Uh, Under this territory, sales table also has territory key and returns table also has territory key, right? But this territory key is repeating in this sales table also. Why it is repeating? Because under sales table, what information do we have? We have information about all the sales that has happened. So it can happen that same territory has multiple sales happened, right, on different dates. So this territory key will be repeating under sales table. I can show you also that. Let me go to sales table here and territory key. See, 9999 is repeating multiple times under sales table, right? Similarly, under returns table, if you see, if I, let's say, select 9 here in this case, 9 is repeating again here. Why it's repeating again here? Because return can happen on different dates in the same territory, right? That is what is happening over here. So what does it mean? It means that the territory key is repeating in both the tables, under sales table or also and under returns table also. You don't have any unique territory key in either of the tables. So let's say I want to create relationship basis on the territory key in both the tables, right? I want to join territory key in both the tables. So as soon as you drag and drop territory key over here, it will open one pane wherein it is showing some error. What error it's showing? It's saying that this relationship has cardinality many to many. This should only be used if it is expected that neither column contains unique values and that the significantly different behavior of many to many relationship is understood. Which means that if you know that the like whenever you create this many to many like this relationship, it is always recommended that there should be one to many relationship. But in this case, since there is multiple instance of territory key in both the tables, whenever you will create relationship, it will give you many to many relationship, which is not recommended. And hence we will not create this relationship between these two tables as many to many, because what is it showing, it's saying that this many to many has significantly different behavior, right? So it will create different type of complexity in the modeling view. So it's not recommended to create any relationship between sales and return, or like any data two fact table or two data table. Why? Because neither of the table has unique value of any of the key. Whenever we create a relationship, what we do, we create a relationship in such a way that in one table you have primary key. By primary key I mean that you have unique values of that column, and in another table that column should act as foreign key. By foreign key I mean that it has repeating values. But in this case neither of the table has primary key, both table has territory key in which you have multiple values, right? Hence this relationship is not recommended. In any of the fact table, whenever you will create a relationship, it will have many to many relationship. It will never have unique values, no primary key like this, right? So while creating a relationship, you always avoid creating relationship between two fact tables, and always create a relationship in such a way that you create relationship with one lookup table with the other fact table. Is it clear? Titi, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So did you understand what happened? Whenever we tried to create relationship between sales and returns, it was giving me many to many relationship, right? And
Yes.
we want, whenever we create any relationship, we want it to be connected in such a way that one primary key is connected to other foreign key. By primary key I mean which will uniquely identify each row. Like sales territory key is primary key for territory lookup because this territory key is unique value, it has unique values in this lookup table. But that sales territory key is not having unique value, that is acting as a foreign key for this table. Similarly, that is acting as a foreign key for sales table. So we can't merge multiple foreign key uh, in in the tables. Like it's always recommended to create a relationship in such a way that you create is it uh, with primary key in one table to foreign key in another table. And that will only happen when you will create relationship between lookup table and fact table. Whenever you will try to create relationship between two fact tables, it will always give you error like many to many, right? Although you can create that relationship, but that will create complexity and that is not the correct way of modeling. So that is not recommended. Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you.
No problem.
So I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What happens if we have a table that actually doesn't have any primary key or foreign key? Then what happens?
If you have no primary key, no foreign key, how will you create relationship? What will
Right.
you have in the table then?
That's what I'm asking. What happens if we had a table that was provided and it just didn't have a primary key established, and then what happens? So we can't create the relationship. Is that what that is?
Yeah, we can't create relationship if you don't have any common key between two tables. You have to have a common key between two tables, right? Let's say I don't have territory key in here, or the best example is you don't have any customer data over here, right? You won't be able to know which customer has returned which product, because you can't create relationship between return and customer lookup. Since you don't have any customer related key, you won't be able to create relationship between customer lookup, and hence you won't be able to know that which customer has actually returned this product in this case, right? You can't create relationship wherein you don't have that common key between two tables.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other question? Aklilu, you are silent in today's class. Do you have any question?
No question. I just listening.
Okay, you are good.
Uh,
Okay, fine. So anyone else? Any question?
No question, but Miha, can you send us the 4 question?
Yes, I can send you the four
Hello,
questions.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can everyone else hear me?
yeah, I
Yeah, I
hear.
can hear you just fine.
Okay.
And also I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the data which is demo data which is sent us. So
Yes.
that one is not edit, so it's only show like only read. So we cannot transform that data. Is there any chance we can grant access to those one?
Which one? I didn't get it. Which one?
The demo which they sent us.
Yeah, the demo dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened in that?
So so if I want to transform those data, say like you
Mhm.
cannot because the data should only read. That means I don't have any kind of edit or any kind of.
Okay, got it. So you need to change the path, I think. Okay, I can look at it, but for now in today's class, do you have any doubt? So we will wrap up this and then we can discuss like anything you guys have, right?
Not for the.
Okay. City, you were asking something. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so you were asking something.
No, I'm just I would like to ask you about the 4 questions that you
Okay,
sent us. Can you
that
send us
that
that?
yeah, that I will send today itself.
Okay.
Okay. So no
Okay,
questions
thank you.
in today's class. Then like I'll just end with the best practice in data modeling, like what all things we should keep in mind while creating a data model. And then the data modeling part will be covered. And from tomorrow we will jump on the DAX part, like how to write DAX queries and what is the difference between calculated column measures and all those things. Okay, so
Okay.
quickly discuss, I will discuss like 3, 4 pointers which you should keep in mind while creating a data model. First of all, always make sure to create lookup table separate and data table separate. Like, don't try to have everything in one, like all the all let's say all the customer information under the sales data. Don't try to create like that. Always, like if possible, create lookup table separate and fact table or data table separate. Second thing is try to organize your tables in such a way that the lookup table you have at the top like this and the data table at the bottom, because what will happen whenever you will create relationship, the filter will flow towards data table. So it's easier to actually look through this in which the filter is flowing downwards, right? So it's not recommended, like best practice to basically have lookup table at the top and data table at the bottom, which will look your data view like modeling view little bit better to understand, right? Then avoid creating complex uh, this cross filtering. That means the bidirectional. Always avoid creating bidirectional filter unless it's necessary or it's demand of any problem statement. If that's not necessary, that's not required, avoid using bidirectional filters, right? Yeah, these are the 3 pointers that you should keep in mind while creating a data model.
Okay, one more question, Mia.
Yeah, go ahead.
I still have a little confusion about creating lookup table.
Mhm.
So here, you didn't change anything, right? When you're creating a lookup table.
Yeah, exactly. So for this problem statement, we already had lookup table given separate and data table separate. So in the case it's not given, then that is a additional exercise for us to create two tables from one table. In this case, we already had like three, four, or like whatever number of lookup table you are seeing, and uh, these two data table you already had. So here we have not created on our own the lookup table and data table. We already had it, but in
Okay.
the case where we will have all the data in one table, then we will have to create lookup table and data table separately.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
no problem. Yeah, any more question? Okay, so I think then we are good with today's class. I'll wrap up this thing. I'll stop the recording, and then you guys can ask me any questions that you will have. Okay, so no more questions, right? Mohammed, you are good?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Then thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Miha,
I will,
can you, Miha,
yeah.
sorry. Can you please send us